The other thing is they've gotten the ball in Elijah Moore's hands, but it's been more north-south than east or east-west than north-south. Do you think they try to get him, a quicker game where he's got a lot of separation? We've seen that. Do you try to get the ball in his hands going north-south quicker?
That's a tough question. They tried some jet sweeps. They tried some things with him. I think the RPO game, like you said, could be really good in the slot. Just reading that backer, really simple, running their pin and pull, running their counter game. If the backside backer blitzes, just throw the quick slant on their RPO. So simple RPOs, ball in space, maybe some more quick game. If they're getting a loaded box with the run game, maybe some more quick game RPO where you tag like a quick hitch out there where he's got a screen attached with the run game. I still think they're trying to do I still think Stefanski's doing a really good job of trying to figure out how to get him the ball in space. And they're new, and I think that's the struggle right now is how do you get him the ball in space? Because east-west is part of what his strength is, right? So he runs really well. You want to use him east-west, but you got to use him vertically as well. And do you just line him up at receiver more? Again, along with the scheme, along with the attitude, how do you take Elijah Moore? What are you doing well, and how can you get him the ball in space? Because really, it's not a play for me with him. It's the ball in space with him. And I think that's what this is what that bye week is for. They got to fix and address the things that they did not do well. And as good as they were against the Titans, they weren't that good. And as bad as they were against the Ravens, they weren't that bad. So they got to figure out, how do we get everybody involved and how do we make this offense work, which all comes down to Deshaun Watson. It's got to be healthy. He's got to be the trigger man. He's got to be the guy that leads this show.
Yeah, I agree with you. Elijah Moore in space puts pressure on defenders to tackle. And you haven't seen enough of that yet. And I think you're right. I think they're kind of searching for what unlocks that.
Well, there's nothing worse than grab bagging. And right now, that's what Stefanski in the offense, they're trying to find what is going to work so they can get in a rhythm. If you think about Stefanski, he wants to run outside zone and the boot off it. They want to run counter and the boot off it. They want to get an empty and find a matchup they like. He has a set, and we all do as coaches. We have things that we like, and we try to adjust always to our personnel, but you only know what you know. So right now they're struggling trying to find out what do they do well, what are their strengths, what are the other team's strengths, and how do you marry that? And that's where they're at. And they've had that issue with Watson now for a while because being an empty and in 10 personnel and throwing the ball 45, 50 times a game does not match up with their personnel up front. That's not how their offensive line is built. So how do you allow them to pass protect, but how do you get the run game involved? Those are all questions that everybody's going to want to see moving forward, including myself. I think they stay with what they know, but they try to scheme it in formation to get what they want from the defense.